What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again once again, and today, people, today, we have a hot take, and not from me for once, I know, right? No, but from a fellow YouTuber and Twitch streamer who goes by the name Swestical. Now, before we get into it, you know the drill. Don't harass him, don't go to any of his channels, do not comment on any of his videos, on his Twitter. Do not talk shit. Do not harass these people. Get it? Got it. Good. Moving forward. So in his video, Twilight Garrison, Swestical responded to the drama surrounding the harassment of Kevin Giannis. Over his statement,
"Titans will never get air dodge back, my guy. It's part of the Warlock identity now."
I don't know why I say that in the Sylvanas
"I will never serve"
voice. Probably because Bungie says things are never coming back, and then, like Gallahorn, they do. So it's kind of hard to believe it, which makes the whole drama even more ludicrous. At the end of the day, Bungie is a company, and if tens of thousands of Titans banded together and, I don't know, stop playing one day, or boycott the game, or something like that, Bungie would have come out with a statement in the next twab going, "We understand Titans' desire for enhanced mobility options on their class, and we are investigating ways to bring that dream into a reality." But no, a bunch of you motherfuckers had to go and ice skate uphill. But I digress. I did an entire video on this. You can watch it. I don't know, there might be a thing in the corner if I remember. So in his video, Swestical notes a trend on Twitter for users to send death threats over lukewarm takes of opinions. Something he and I have both experienced for years. Probably coming from your usual suspects: Twitter, YouTube, Reddit. The idea of toxicity on the internet, let alone Twitter, is nothing new. To kind of compare and contrast, now this isn't just a Destiny thing.
And I seriously don't understand like how this is still a recurring issue. This has seemed to become a recurring issue within the Destiny 2 Twitter sphere, if you want to call it that, in which people are making personal attacks to devs, community managers, etc. Anybody that works for Bungie. It could literally be the janitor and they would find a reason to hate them. But the point is it's just sad what the Destiny 2 Twitter sphere has become.
A while ago, Final Fantasy XIV released its 6.1 patch. Final Fantasy XIV is notorious for its friendly, open, and welcome community.
Well, that's a wipe. Guess this is where we disband. Oh well, see you guys. Oh right, you all suck and uninstall the game and all of that, you know, the usual.
Oh, what do you mean, man? We just go again.
No, idiot. I didn't pull the bag. I was... Wait, what?
Yeah, we don't have to disband. Just try again, right?
I didn't think that this is a thing. I'm just so used to everyone leaving after each wipe. Aren't you just afraid of wasting your time with this failure of a group?
Then we waste our time together.
Wow.
It's a game that is objectively in a much better place than Destiny 2 is. And I would argue that Final Fantasy XIV thrives primarily because of the vision behind it. You look at all the recycled, regurgitated content in Destiny 2, and can you really argue that there's passion behind that? Maybe when it comes to the raids and the creativity behind what goes into the cash shop. Because you do have to be really creative to get people to spend money on your cash shop items. But for Yoshi P, there's no real arguing that Final Fantasy XIV isn't his life's work, his magnum opus as a creator. Whereas Destiny is a glorified mobile game. And you can disagree with that all you want, but I think the proof is in the pudding. There is a reason Final Fantasy XIV, a subscription-based MMO, is one of the biggest MMOs on the face of the planet at time of recording. Endwalker, Final Fantasy XIV's last expansion, contributed to a 22% rise for all of Square Enix's profits. Whereas Destiny 2, a free-to-try MMO, has to engage in FOMO manipulation to try to keep its core engaged. That is the difference between quality and vision. Now, I'm not sucking off Final Fantasy XIV because I enjoy the taste, I promise. So, you may be wondering what this digression has to do with toxic players. recently, in patch 6.1, new housing in a location called Ishgard was made available. To say that this new housing area was hype would be an understatement. There was an in-game event called the Ishgard Restoration that started like 2 years ago and would go on for quite some time. I think you can still do things for it, but I could be mistaken. Housing would also get an overhaul to try to make it more fair. So what the Final Fantasy XIV team decided to do was turn it into a lottery system. And well, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. It shipped really buggy. People didn't know if they won or if they lost. It was a huge deal, and the community, at least members within the community, lost their fucking shit. So much so that Yoshi P, the grand poobah of the game, if this can happen in Final Fantasy XIV, arguably one of the shining beacons in gaming when it comes to really good communities, what hope do content creators like myself or developers like Kevin Yanis have in a game that's a shit show like Destiny? Give people anonymity and an opportunity, and somebody's going to make an ass out of themselves. But Swestical here has the solution. What solution? Well, let's hear it from the man himself.
Bungie, you need to put your foot down and start permabanning these clowns. If they're making personal attacks to your employees, you need to be permanently banning these people from your game. Not just blocking them on Twitter. It's just gross. Why would you want these people even playing your game? If your game is something advertised as like you get to play with your friends and have this great experience, those people are not going to help promote that sphere within your game. They're not going to.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
So of course, no one, and I mean no one, except maybe the clowns making threats to devs, think making threats to devs is okay. And I'm sure some people heard Swestical's idea, and in the back of their mind they go, yeah, that fixes everything. That sounds great. However, it's actually kind of moronic. Let me ask you, how exactly would you even enforce this? It's not like everybody harassing devs has their gamer tag splayed all over their bio, and even if they did, how would you know it was them and not people weaponizing banning? You would need a way to verify this. So how would you do that? Do you require every Destiny player to have a Twitter and link their Twitter to their Bungie ID? That'll kill the game quick, fast, and in a hurry. People on Twitter like to pretend that they're the vast majority. They're not. Lots of people don't want to join Twitter. They don't like Twitter. They don't want to deal with Twitter. And Twitter's not the only social media platform. So what do? Do we also link Facebook, Reddit? Do we have this cavalcade of apps that you need to have just to play Destiny? That's dumb. It's not like that would even work. Anyways, what stops a troll who wants to harass a dev from making a second account? Dun dun dun! Gas, shock, horror, lightning crackle, lightning crackle, lightning crackle. I cannot tell you the number of eggs that harass me on Twitter. Oh, sure, you could offer an emblem or something like that to get people to sign up. But again, what about those who don't want to? Or create fake accounts? The entire process requires people to be honest and not do things like create an egg account just so they can harass dev while still getting whatever rewards Bungie offers. And honestly, do you think Bungie has the infrastructure to create, verify, and monitor social media on that scale? This is the same Bungie that could barely stop cheating, and they didn't really stop cheating by creating new infrastructure. They stopped cheating through legality. And now, somehow, someway, through some Herculean leap in logic that us mere mortals will never be able to comprehend, Bungie is going to magically force players to be nice and kind on other platforms. And this is before we come to the subject of harassment itself. Harassment by nature covers a wide range of behaviors. And what one might find as harassment, someone else might not. Telling somebody to go take a long walk off a short pier is clearly harassment. Telling somebody they have a stupid idea, well, somebody may consider that harassment. All depends on the person. In a legal sense, harassment is behavior that appears to be disturbing, upsetting, or threatening. Now, I think we can all agree telling somebody to take a long walk off a short pier is harassment, but upsetting? That is subjective. I'm sure developers at Bungie don't like hearing people talk shit about the state of the game. I'm sure that is upsetting to them. In fact, negative coverage of Destiny in the most technical sense can both be upsetting and threatening to Bungie. After all, I'm sure devs don't like it when they thought they made something cool, then they release it and the internet shits all over it. And somebody who criticizes with a platform, like yours truly, truly is categorically a threat, not just to Bungie's bottom line, but the livelihood of their employees, because my negative reviews can stop people from buying. So, do we also go after all the critics and reviewers who say anything other than Destiny is perfect, a 10 out of 10 game? Because that is categorically threatening and upsetting to Bungie? Seems like a dystopian nightmare to me. And in this brave new world of dystopian nightmares, why is it just harassment against Bungie employees that is being policed off of any Bungie-owned platform? Is this a case of everybody's equal, but some people are just more equal? Shouldn't any fanboy that tells me to go jump off a bridge be banned from Destiny 2? I mean, harassment is harassment, or does the policing of harassment off of any Bungie-owned platforms only matter to Bungie employees? And you know, with these new policing tools that Bungie has conjured up that monitor and overreach onto other platforms to verify your social credit so that you're allowed to play Destiny, well, aren't there things that are just as bad, if not worse, than harassment? I mean, if we're going all in, why not go all in? Bungie cares a lot about social issues, things that might be contentious based on, I don't know, things like religion to some people, or even where people live in the world. Not everybody in the West has the same systems of value, let alone the rest of the world. Bungie themselves fail to stand up to their own standards. Initially, they had an issue with Devrim K's sexuality, him being gay, because it would cause issues in China and Russia. Isn't capitulating for the sake of money kinda fucked up? But I digress. Wouldn't want to be banned for pointing out hypocrisy.
But Joker!
I hear you cry out in your shrill, tremulous voice.
No one would ever interpret it that way.
Maybe. But, let's not give them the opportunity to let us find out.
At the end of the day, you guys have to remember, Bungie is a business. They have employees with families to feed, and they're not going to get everything right. They're going to operate as a business and what's best for them, which doesn't always reflect in the best changes for the game.
How about that? Enforcement of any system like this can only work on those Bungie can identify. And there's no logistical way to truly identify people. Not even Twitter, one of the biggest social media platforms on the planet, can stop bots or alts. I'm actually reminded of some drama in the Final Fantasy XIV community over third-party tools. For those of you who do not know, third-party tools are not allowed in Final Fantasy XIV. However, it's basically an honor system, as Square has no way of telling if you have mods installed or not. As a note, don't install mods, and Square has no way of finding out due to some Japanese law that forbids companies from spying on their users, or something like that. So Square just doesn't do it. They have a rule, don't use third-party mods, but they really have no way of enforcing it. And everybody treats third-party tools like Fight Club. And the number one rule about third-party tools is you don't talk about it, unless you're making an overly convoluted example. Well, during the world's first race for Dragon Song Reprised, a raider that was streaming was caught using third-party tools during the raid, and was subsequently banned. This caused a shitstorm, part of which was, are mods okay? Which mods are okay? Some people said chat bubbles are okay. Some people said G-Shade was okay, but mods that can track player damage are not. Some people said, well, G-Shade and mods that track player damage is okay, but mods that tell you where a boss is going to attack is not. Where do you draw the line? Square just said, we don't talk about it, because there's no way to enforce it unless you basically self-report. So just don't. Just shut up. Same thing with Bungie trying to ban people in Destiny for things that happen on Twitter. It only works if you're dumb enough to self-report. And this is all assuming Bungie even has the time, capacity, infrastructure to investigate any and all allegations. This is the reason Bungie can really only ban prominent figures who they believe broke their social contract, because they know who they are. The inability for Bungie to enforce totalitarian levels of Chinese dystopian surveillance on their community aside, this is just a Pandora's box that Bungie doesn't want to open. And it's not one that I believe Bungie is dumb enough to open, because even if they as a company just hardline death threats and nothing else, there will always be groups of people who want Bungie to broaden the scope and scale of their tools, to enforce more and more and more to make Destiny the safe space they think they want. A ghost town of like-minded people. Harassment sucks. I get it all the time. If anyone can sympathize, it's me. And there's never going to be a solution for it. There are just simply people who think that they're right, or people who will condemn what happened to a Bungie dev, but in the same breath, cheer that harassment happening to me because they believe I deserve it. And that sucks. But it is what it is. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. But above all else, stay frosty.